Hello again, everyone, and a warm welcome from Miami, the cruise capital of the world. We are very fortunate today to have with us the people who put together the only full ship charter since the beginning of the pandemic. Joining us today from Avalon Waterways is Pam Hoffey, Managing Director. We have Steve Bloss, President of Worldwide, and the Director of Business Development, Diana Bloss. And today's little session will be moderated by Natalie Horan, who's the Executive Director of Marketing for eGroup Communications. So I'm going to let Natalie take it off from here.
All right, hi guys, and congratulations. It's a very big deal. So let's see. So let's start with what were the dates of the sailing, and where'd you guys go?
The dates were, it was August 3rd, 2021. And we started in Paris and we went north all the way up to Normandy and then back again.
Beautiful. So this was a full ship charter. Pam, can you tell us a little bit about the ship that you guys used?
Absolutely. So we were thrilled to host this group on the Avalon Tapestry 2. It was the first ship that we put back in operation as well this year. So I had been on the ship just the week prior to hosting this charter, and our crew did a fantastic job. Our Avalon ships are all identical, so honestly, they could have been on any of our ships and had the same experience, but they were on the Tapestry 2 this time.
Nice. Diana, what was the size of this group?
It was, well, as Pam says, it was a full ship. We had 128 passengers.
Nice. Were they regional or international?
International. The majority came from the US, but we did have some guests that were from like Mexico, Russia, Italy, Spain, Canada, Poland. Yeah, so it was pretty international, but predominantly US.
Beautiful. Okay. Were there any new safety procedures that you guys implemented specifically for this charter?
There were. The charter followed all of the same guidelines that we'd put in place with our Avalon Assurance program in order to keep everyone safe through COVID. So that had been successfully put in place, approved by IG River Cruise, which is or with IG River Cruise by the European Union, in order to keep our guests safe. So things like there was social distancing put in place, but everyone was vaccinated on board. That's the most important thing. So we didn't necessarily have to follow all of those same rules that happen here, like wearing masks, for example, because the CDC, as you know, recommended that guests wear masks if they're unvaccinated. But since everyone on board was vaccinated, including our crew, we were able to be a little bit more open with some of the rules on board. We have eliminated some of our self-service items in terms of food, but with hand sanitizing, even some of that could come back. So there were a few changes, but all in all, it was pretty much the same river cruise experience that you'd expect anywhere.
That's great. So masks on board were not required because they were vaccinated.
They were required in some circumstances, so as you moved about the ship, but once you got into the lounge and sat down or into the restaurant, you could take your mask off.
Cool. Okay.
We follow what the local regulations require. So the Avalon rules are that masks aren't required because everyone is vaccinated, but we of course follow what the local rules require at the same time.
Okay. And in regards to that, were there any additional or specific protocols that had to be met at the port of embarkation or at the ports where you visited?
So yes, in terms of the ports we visited, France has in place that guests were required to be vaccinated in order to enter restaurants and bars and to enter museums, places like that. But again, since all of our guests on this trip were vaccinated and on Avalon are vaccinated, it really wasn't an issue. You just had to show your vaccine card and your ID. That was back in August. Now there is a official pass that you need to register for to travel to go to France. But pre-cruise, no, there weren't. To return home, we did take care of all of the testing for any guests who needed a test to return to their home country. That's something that Avalon is doing. The tests are done on board. It's very simple, and you get the results instantly, and then overnight get the QR code in order to be able to go home. And when I say taking care of, I mean making the arrangements and covering the cost of those.
Beautiful. Nice. Steve and Diana, do you have any advice to anybody who's doing a full ship charter that might make their passengers feel more comfortable leading up to the event, or anything you learned from this?
Well, as anybody that sold one of these things knows, from the time you sell it to the time you operate, there's a big gap of time. This all started back in October of 2019, with Diana and I going on a sister ship. As Pam says, all the ships are the same. So we took a cruise on a sister ship, just find out if this would be suitable for our client, which it was. And thankfully, Avalon even sent down director of operations from Switzerland to go over the operating programs. But here's the thing, from October 19 to August of 21, it's a whole different world. There's numerous changes, fits, facts, you name it, that happened. The only way it worked, and it worked very, very well, and in fact, the client is actually in the process of re-signing with Avalon for 2023, is the teamwork between our office and Avalon's office. Yes, it's easy to say it all worked out, but in between these times, there were so many rules changed. The client's always concerned, what's happening? Diana was able to keep everybody abreast of what was happening, not only with getting into the country, but what's happening on the ship, in the country.
Yeah, to reiterate what Steve is saying, the close collaboration between Worldwide, Avalon, and our client, and especially in the lead up at the last part, was keeping on top of what the new protocols were, what was changing, having reliable sources for that information. That kept one pretty busy.
And if I can chime in, I just want to say what great partners Steve and Diana were for this, and their client as well. France didn't open until early June. So it was incredible to be able to operate a charter in August, because we had a group who wanted to travel, who was willing to, wait, follow what was the changes that were happening so rapidly, as long as we were keeping them posted. And, Steve and Diana did a great job of making sure that their client was informed all the time, asked all the right questions, and it really was a team effort to make this happen. So kudos to you both for everything to get this one traveling.
Well, it's a real team effort today to pull one of these off. We have 2 more going out on Holland America and Silver Sea within the next 45 days. And the situation is still very fluid out there. You have to cooperate with not only your client, but the cruise line. And the key information is critical right now. And you got to know where to find that information, which is not readily available.
Right. Yeah, and we can say firsthand that working with Avalon has made it so easy to plan a charter, because we're planning the River Exchange in November from Budapest to Munich. So we're excited to experience the Avalon Envision, and then we'll let you know for ourselves. But this is great. This is all really wonderful news. Thank you, guys. Bob, I don't know if you wanted to add anything.
I think one of the most important elements of your success is that nobody got sick.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think everybody wants to know about that, because you did something and everybody was healthy at the end of it. And that's what's important. We're moving forward.
Absolutely. And we have not had anyone test positive and we're doing the tests on board, as you know, for guests to travel home. So that's something that is a true success and happy story for us this year.
Bob, just to interject, of course, anytime somebody gets sick on a ship, everybody hears about it. But what you don't hear is like Silver Sea operating 5 ships with not one case of COVID. Holland America line now operating 4 ships, no COVID. So you hear the bad news, but nobody broadcasts the good news.
Never, I
The
know.
other part of the good news is we've been on 4 cruises now since June 26th, personally, for our clients. And the people on board are ecstatic. They are really happy to be cruising again. They don't care where they're going. They don't care about wearing a mask, not wearing a mask. All the problems we sit there and see publicized are not what the people on board are thinking about. They're thinking about having a good time, and it's good to get out of the damn house.
That's for sure, for sure. And we can't wait, as Natalie said, to be on the next full ship charter for Avalon in a month or so. So it's going to be terrific.
And if I could interject just quickly too, the team that Avalon has in Switzerland are absolutely incredible. They are so
Exactly.
good.
We're experiencing that ourselves every week leading up to it, and can't wait.
Absolutely. They can customize anything. As you know, they are, it is a fabulous team that we have putting together our charters. So if anybody's looking for something special on board, on land, our team can do it. And thanks for those nice words about them. I will be happy to pass it along.
If you'd like to learn more about the upcoming 2021 River Exchange MICE conference aboard Avalon's Envision from Budapest to Munich this coming November, or any of our 2022 exchange conferences, visit us online at egroupcommunications.com. For those of you who don't already know, the Exchange MICE conferences bring together meetings, incentives, conference, and event professionals from North America and beyond for a week of 5-star, all-inclusive, one-to-one business meetings, receptions, excursions, and events with top MICE suppliers from all over the world. Our suppliers include global cruise lines, destinations, hotels, resorts, and DMCs. All of our hosted buyers are fully vetted through the Exchange Hosted Buyer Committee, making the Exchange conferences the #1 ROI events in the industry. Thanks so much, and we look forward to seeing you somewhere in the world very soon.